Ben's hands, usually covered in grease, were surprisingly gentle as he braided Lily's bright red hair. "Almost done, little peanut," he chuckled, tugging playfully on a strand. Lily, a whirlwind of 6-year-old energy, giggled, her blue eyes sparkling. Their small apartment above his garage was modest, but it hummed with love. Ben, a single dad, worked hard as a part-time auto repairman, fixing cars for his neighbors and friends. It wasn't fancy work, but it paid the bills and, more importantly, allowed him to be there for Lily. Every morning after packing her lunch, he'd walk her to school, holding her tiny hand in his big, calloused one. Their walks were filled with stories and made-up songs. Ben believed in making every moment count, especially for Lily. He'd tell her tales of brave knights and friendly dragons, making her laugh with silly voices. Lily was his whole world, and he made sure she knew it. Their life was simple, a rhythm of school, garage work, homemade dinners, and bedtime stories. It wasn't always easy, but with Lily by his side, Ben felt like the richest man alive. He'd often think about how lucky he was, even on the days when a car engine fought back harder than usual. One sunny afternoon, Ben and Lily were driving home after a trip to the park. Lily was humming a silly tune, a half-eaten ice cream cone clutched in her hand. Ben smiled, enjoying the quiet comfort of their time together. The old pickup truck, his faithful workhorse, rumbled gently down the road. Suddenly up ahead, he saw a car pulled over to the side. A woman stood next to it, her arms crossed, looking very upset. Her dark hair was a bit messy, and she kept looking at the engine with a frown. "Uh-oh," Lily mumbled, pointing her sticky finger. "That car looks sad, Daddy." Ben slowed down, his eyes scanning the scene. The woman, Sarah, was clearly having trouble. She kicked at a tire lightly, then sighed, running a hand through her hair. He could see the frustration on her face even from a distance. As they got closer, he noticed her shoulders slump a little more. It was clear she was stuck and feeling quite helpless. Ben knew that feeling well, though usually he was the one helping others out of it. He glanced at Lily, who was now watching the scene with wide, curious eyes. Helping people was just what Ben did. It was part of who he was, a simple act of kindness he always offered. Without a moment's hesitation, Ben signaled and carefully pulled his old pickup truck behind Sarah's broken-down car. He put on his hazard lights, then turned to Lily. "Stay put, sweet pea. Daddy's just going to see if that nice lady needs a hand." Lily nodded, her eyes wide with curiosity, and gave a small, shy wave towards Sarah. Ben stepped out, his work boots crunching on the gravel shoulder. Sarah, startled by the truck pulling up, looked over, her expression a mix of surprise and worry. She probably expected a tow truck, or maybe just someone to drive past. Ben offered a warm, easy smile. "Looks like you're having a bit of trouble there," he said, his voice calm and friendly. "I'm Ben, and I happen to know a thing or two about cars. Mind if I take a look?" Sarah hesitated for a second, her gaze flicking from Ben to his truck, then to Lily peeking out the window. Lily, still shy, gave another little wave. Sarah offered a small, tired smile back to the little girl. Ben waited patiently, his hands tucked into his pockets, not wanting to push. He just wanted to help. The sun was starting to dip lower, and he knew how unsettling it could be to be stranded as evening approached. Sarah's shoulders were still tense. She met plenty of mechanics before, and usually they just wanted to get the job done and be paid. Ben's warm smile was different, though. And then there was the little girl, Lily, peeking out from the truck window, her big eyes curious and friendly. I suppose so," Sarah finally said, a little unsure. "It just stopped, and I have no idea why." "Oh, that—" Ben nodded, his expression understanding. "Happens to the best of us," he said, walking to the front of her car. He opened the hood, and a puff of warm air escaped. As he peered into the engine, Lily's small voice drifted over from the truck. "Is it hungry, Daddy?" she asked, her question innocent and sweet. Ben chuckled softly, a genuine sound that surprised Sarah. "Maybe a little sweet pea," he called back, "or maybe it just needs a good tickle." Sarah found herself smiling faintly at that. It was such a simple, funny thing to say. Ben's easygoing nature, combined with Lily's innocent charm, began to chip away at Sarah's worries. He wasn't just a mechanic. He was a dad, and a kind one at that. The frustration she felt slowly started to fade, replaced by a tiny spark of comfort. Ben quickly got to work, his movements practiced and sure. He peered into the engine, listened intently, and then with a small smile declared, "Aha, just a loose connection, nothing too scary." He pulled a small tool from his pocket, a trusty screwdriver, and tightened a wire. All the while, he kept up a light patter of conversation. "This old engine just needed a little pep talk, I think," told it how handsome it was. Lily from the truck chimed in, "Did you tell it a story, Daddy?" "Not yet, sweet pea, but maybe next time," Ben called back, making Sarah chuckle again. He looked at Sarah. "See, sometimes cars are just like grumpy toddlers, a little attention, a little coaxing, and they're good to go." His eyes twinkled with humor. He wiped his hands on a rag he always kept handy. "Try starting her up now." Sarah, feeling a strange lightness, got into her car and turned the key. The engine coughed once, then roared to life, smooth and strong. A wave of relief washed over her. "Oh, thank goodness," she exclaimed, turning to Ben with a genuine smile. He just grinned, his face smudged with a bit of grease, looking quite pleased with himself. Lily clapped her hands from the truck, happy that the sad car was fixed. Sarah got out of her car, a warm feeling spreading through her. "Thank you, Ben, really. How much do I owe you?" she asked, reaching for her purse. Ben waved a hand, shaking his head with a kind smile. "No charge today, Sarah. Just glad I could help." He glanced back at Lily, who was now blowing him a kiss from the truck. He caught it playfully in his hand and pretended to tuck it into his pocket. Sarah watched this sweet exchange, a deep warmth settling in her chest. It wasn't just that he fixed her car, it was how he did it. His gentle humor, his easy kindness, and most of all, the pure love he showed for his daughter. It was clear Lily was his whole world, and he treated her with such tenderness and fun. Sarah had been so focused on her own busy life, she hadn't realized how much she missed seeing such simple, genuine affection. Ben wasn't just a good mechanic, he was a good person, a wonderful dad. As he returned to his truck, giving her a final friendly nod, Sarah knew she wouldn't forget him or the lasting, positive impression he and Lily had left on her heart. She drove off, but the image of Ben's kind smile and Lily's waving hand stayed with her. The memory of Ben and Lily lingered with Sarah for days. She couldn't shake the image of his kind smile or the sound of his playful jokes with his daughter. He hadn't just fixed her car, he had brightened her day and somehow her outlook. She thought about him more than she expected to, wondering about their simple life above the garage. She knew where his shop was, a small, cozy place she'd passed many times without a second glance. Finally, after 2 restless nights and countless thoughts of the mechanic and his little girl, Sarah made a decision. It started as an excuse to properly thank him. She baked a batch of her famous chocolate chip cookies, wrapped them in a pretty ribbon, and drove to Ben's garage. Her heart fluttered a little as she pulled up. She told herself it was just a thank you, but a deeper feeling, a quiet curiosity, pulled her forward. She wanted to see if the warmth she felt from him that day was real or just a fleeting moment on a dusty roadside. She wanted to see him again. Sarah found Ben under a car, a wrench in his hand, a smudge of grease on his cheek. He looked up, surprised, then a wide smile spread across his face when he saw her. "Well, hello there, Sarah." "Car trouble again, I hope not," he joked, wiping his hands on a rag and standing up. "No, thankfully she's running perfectly," Sarah replied, holding out the cookies. "These are for you, a proper thank you." Ben's eyes lit up. "Wow, homemade, Lily is going to be thrilled." He gently took the box. "Come on in, it's a bit messy out here." He led her to a small, clean area in the corner of the garage with a worn-out couch and a coffee maker. They sat down and Ben offered her a mug of coffee. They talked easily, the conversation flowing without effort. Sarah learned about his love for old cars and how he sometimes brought home broken toys to fix for Lily. Ben discovered Sarah was an artist who painted nature scenes, explaining why she was often out on quiet roads. They laughed about their shared love for chocolate chip cookies and how Lily loved to help him fix things with her plastic tools. It felt simple and warm, like catching up with an old friend. The deeper curiosity Sarah felt began to bloom into something more, a genuine enjoyment of his company. That first easy conversation in the garage sparked something new for both Ben and Sarah. Soon, thank you visits turned into planned outings. Ben would sometimes invite Sarah to join him and Lily for their regular park visits. Sarah found herself laughing more than she had in years, watching Ben push Lily on the swings, making up silly songs. She'd bring her sketchpad, and while Lily played, she and Ben would talk, sometimes for hours, about everything and nothing. They started having casual dinners too, sometimes at Ben's small apartment where Lily would proudly show off her latest drawing, or at a cozy diner in town. Sarah loved watching Ben with Lily, the way he listened intently to her stories, the patient answers he gave to her endless questions, and the warm hugs he offered. It wasn't long before Lily started asking, "Is Sarah coming too, Daddy?" whenever they planned something fun. Sarah felt a comfortable, easy friendship growing between them, a warmth that felt like coming home. It was a simple joy, sharing these moments, building a connection that felt deeper than either had expected. As Ben and Sarah's friendship grew, so did Lily's affection for Sarah. Lily, who was usually a bit shy with new people, took to Sarah like a duck to water. Sarah always made time to listen to Lily's stories about school or her latest drawing. She'd bring small art supplies, and they would spend happy afternoons coloring or painting together. Lily loved Sarah's gentle voice and how Sarah would make funny faces when reading her a book. "Sarah can draw the bestest dragons, Daddy," Lily would declare, holding up a colorful drawing. Ben's heart swelled with happiness watching them. He saw how Sarah truly cared for Lily, not just as his daughter, but as a person. She remembered Lily's favorite colors, her silly jokes, and even her secret handshake. Lily started calling Sarah Auntie Sarah, a name that brought a special warmth to Ben. Seeing Lily so happy and comfortable with Sarah filled Ben with a joy he hadn't felt in a very long time. It was clear that Sarah wasn't just a friend to him, she was becoming a cherished part of their little family. This made Ben's feelings for Sarah grow even stronger, a quiet, hopeful love blooming in his chest. One evening, after putting Lily to bed, Ben and Sarah were sitting on the small couch in his apartment. The air was soft with the quiet hum of the night. Lily's drawings were taped to the fridge, and a gentle light from a lamp lit up Sarah's face. They had just finished talking about their day, but a new quiet had settled between them, different from their usual easy comfort. Ben cleared his throat, his heart beating a little faster. "Sarah," he started, I really enjoy our time together, more than just friends." He looked at her, his eyes warm and a little hopeful. Sarah's gaze met his, and a shy smile touched her lips. "Me too, Ben," she whispered, her voice soft. "A lot more." She had felt it for weeks, this pull towards him, a feeling of belonging she hadn't known she was missing. He reached out, taking her hand in his calloused fingers warm and comforting. "I think I'm falling for you, Sarah," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. A tear escaped Sarah's eye, but it was a happy tear. "I think I'm falling for you too, Ben." In that moment, surrounded by the quiet comfort of his home and the presence of Lily, their heartfelt words hung in the air, sealing a new, wonderful chapter for them both. From that heartfelt evening, Ben and Sarah's connection deepened into a beautiful romance. Their love blossomed as easily as a spring flower. Dates were simple, yet filled with meaning. Late-night talks after Lily was asleep, sharing dreams and worries. Weekend adventures to quiet art galleries for Sarah or old car shows for Ben. And always plenty of time spent with Lily. They learned to lean on each other, finding comfort and strength in their shared moments. Ben admired Sarah's artistic spirit and her gentle way of seeing the world. Sarah loved Ben's honest heart, his steady kindness, and his wonderful sense of humor. They laughed a lot, silly jokes and shared glances becoming their special language. There was a deep understanding between them, a feeling that they had known each other forever, even though their meeting had been so unexpected. Each day felt like a new discovery, a deeper appreciation for the love that had bloomed from a broken-down car on the side of the road. It was a love built on respect, shared joy, and a quiet, profound happiness. Years passed, and the small apartment above the garage became a home for three. Sarah's artwork now decorated the walls, bringing vibrant colors to every room. Lily, a little taller and even more full of life, had both Ben and Sarah to share her stories with, and two laps to snuggle into during movie nights. Sarah became not just a partner to Ben, but a loving stepmom to Lily, always there with a gentle hug or a patient ear. Ben often looked at Sarah, then at Lily, a quiet sense of wonder filling his heart. He never could have guessed that pulling over to help a stranger with a broken car would lead to such a beautiful, lasting love. What started as a simple act of kindness on a dusty roadside had blossomed into a full, happy family. Their life was still simple in many ways, but it was rich with laughter, understanding, and the deep, steady beat of a love that had truly appeared in the most unexpected of places. Every day was a reminder that sometimes, the greatest treasures are found when you simply stop to lend a hand.